breaking news to bring you right now.
Coronavirus has now claimed 76,000 lives here in the U.S.
The metrics right here. That's my metrics. That's all I can do.
This, in our eyes, is doomsday. In the next 2 weeks in California, we're going to hit that very high surge and peak.
Sadly, thousands of Illinoisans are dead from COVID-19.
We don't need a vaccine.
Brazil's number of cases is the third highest in the world. This virus, which the president has dismissed as a little flu.
They say, oh, he should do more. No, there's nothing more you can do. It's a very contagious virus. It's incredible, but it's something that we have tremendous control of. You're talking about the virus? No, that's not under control for any place in the world.
Jó van, úgyis szerkeztünk rajta. So, what up everyone? We are on stream. If everything is true and you probably can hear us now, and this is really good. This is our first podcast. And I think
welcome everyone.
Welcome.
Patrick's here with the stream online. We're really excited to do this. This is our first time, as Roland said. And yeah, sure. As you can see, our topic today would be COVID-19, but as you know, continuously, you will be a bit distracted from the topic, but I think this won't be a problem today. So yeah.
Yeah, and of course let us know if there is any kind of technical issues. As we said, first time, so we are not sure if everything is right. Everything should be right though, but maybe
sure, we try our best to do right now. So please don't judge us, please don't blame us. It's our first time, you know. Yeah, we're kind of excited. Also, I'm kind of, you know, like frustrated or something, but yeah, let's go on with this topic. So yeah, sure. Everyone's been in quarantine since like the middle of March, and we kind of interested. How did it go for you guys? So let us know in the comment section, and as well, we would like to talk about a bit what we saw and what we experienced during this 2.5 months. So yeah, Roland, I think you could start this.
Yeah. So actually, for me, this 2.5 months wasn't really bad. But it's mostly because I could spend a lot of time with my family, and that always great. But of course, I think this whole situation was a little bit unreal. Like, I couldn't really believe what's going on. We didn't go out for weeks, and we couldn't go to shops and things like that. And it was really, really strange, but for me personally, it wasn't bad. And I think our family is really lucky because no one got infected, or as far as we know. And also great. However, of course, I try to keep up with the news and what's going on. And to be honest, sometimes it was really terrifying, because a lot of bad things happened.
Yeah, sure.
At
Media
this time.
tries to make people scared and try to sell their products via this virus as well. So, like yesterday, I saw a commercial where a little girl took a pill, and the commercial said that coronavirus free package or some shit like that. So it was like kind of bullshit. Yeah, media is the worst enemy ever that humanity had to face throughout this whole entire history of life. So everything, so it's like media is the worst enemy, I think, and we should talk about the media as well after you finish your sentence and your thoughts on this. So yeah, I'm kind of interested. Have you been tested or not?
Personally, I haven't been tested. However, I'm gonna be. But it's not because I'm worried if I got infected. It's because I'm gonna have some medical tests, and
Sure.
I
That
need
sounds
to be
interesting
tested.
to me, actually.
Yeah. What about you though? Like, also this 2.5 months.
Yeah,
we haven't really
so
talk about it. So
as you know,
go on,
and
please.
I think most of the people experience the same way, just as me did, just as I did. Sorry. Sure, this quarantine was tough on me, especially when it first started. But after a time, I think everyone has to get used to it, because you can't blame the situation and you cannot blame yourself because these happenings, and you gotta do your own shit. You gotta look forward to and take steps forward during this time as well. You have to stay positive and that positive mindset to live throughout the days. Yeah, sure, it's kind of hard to resist the temptation to go out, or just you cannot meet your friends, you can't go to shops, you can't play basketball at the court, drop some hoops or something like that. But you have to stay positive and you have to keep moving forward, because life does not stop and you have to carry your own shit. And this was the mindset that helped me throughout this whole scene and this whole situation. So yeah, at the end of the quarantine, so like from May, I felt good. It was a good vibe, so there wasn't any problems or tough depression and stuff. So it was okay for me.
So I think you mentioned a really important thing.
Yeah, sure.
And this is staying positive. Because like as far as I could see, a lot of people just couldn't, which is pretty much understandable as how could you stay positive in a situation like this. However, I do think if you started doing something new, something which made some interest in you during this quarantine time, that could make a lot easier this situation, because you find something positive in it. And personally for me, this was YouTube, because everyday life, when we have a lot of duty to do, we just cannot have enough time for a hobby like YouTube. But during quarantine, it changed a lot, and I think if you can compare it to something good to do that makes it so much better.
So yeah, taking up a new hobby can help you during tough times. Yeah, I can say it's true, because like for me, I took up, just as YouTube and video cutting and things like that. I practice 3 or 4 times a week basketball. It was kind of fun with the homies, but after a time, you get used to something, you have to start a new hobby again. So the most important part of this is to keep yourself interested in things, so time can fly by, so be able to stress out on things that's happening around you. Oh, it's like distract yourself from the days and try to focus on interesting things, so you won't get bored, you won't be able to start overthinking shit, and you won't be able to fall in depression or some shit like that.
And like I think a lot of things needs to be considered here, and I think we have to understand ourselves more to understand this situation, because like with this generation has never been in a situation like this, and we didn't really imagine that it could really happen, but after all it did. And now we have to like develop ourselves for this situation, and first step I think is that it's the acceptance of the situation, and the acceptance of the fact that maybe grow on us really toughly, and that's hard, but if we don't accept it, then we can never go forward.
So you gotta have that really positive and only positive thoughts in your little brain. So you have to make sure that you stay calm and you keep moving forward during this time. This is the key. This is the most important part.
But like I also want to mention that because I know it's not that easy when you feel miserable.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's not that easy. Then you say that don't feel miserable, be positive. Yeah, of course that's not how it works. Of course, that's why I think we have to measure ourselves in it. Moreover, we just need to decide what's important and what's not, and have to find our ways to get out of it. And I think if we feel bad, if we have negative thoughts, yeah, that's bad, but I couldn't say that's not okay. It is, especially in a situation like this. We just have to handle them somehow, and we have to find our ways to handle
You
it.
have to embrace your negative and bad and stressed and every kind of bad stuff you have in your mind. You have to embrace it. Then you have to try to solve problems by steps. So not like solve your problems as a whole. You have to take little steps forward to solve your problems in your life, just like in this quarantine. So for example, full transparency, you are here, the quarantine just took off and you feel miserable. For example, I felt miserable because I couldn't meet my friends. So what's the problem here? That I cannot see my friends, I cannot meet them, I cannot communicate with them, anything. So yeah, that's a problem, sure. Yeah, that's a huge problem for especially for a human that's for example so extroverted like me, that needs inspiration from humanity, from other people around him. So yeah, so there's this little boy called Patrick. He's miserable because he cannot meet his friends. So what he's gonna do? Step A, he's gonna cry all day and let in negative and bad thoughts in his brain. So at the end of the day, he didn't do anything. He stopped grinding, he didn't train, he didn't do his own stuff to make his life better. But there's another side, B, where he can choose that he will fight against this problem. So he, for example, he takes a paper, then he writes down his problem. So his problem clearly is, as I have mentioned it before, is that he cannot meet his friends. So he tries to think of a solution. So what can he do? Go online, make a call, video chat. So he can do any kind of stuff, play online with them. So it's not the same, but you have to use that I don't know what's the exact name of this, but like glass half full mindset. So you have to see the bright side of things. You have some kind of solution that can fit in your problem as a solution, so you can carry on and you can do your thing as well. So you have to be realistic. Hard for especially when you're for example in depression, but that's another case. But when you feel miserable, it's always hard to concentrate on the bright side and concentrate on how to solve your problems. So yeah, everyone should concentrate on their own future and what goals do they have, because spending days with doing absolutely nothing, just crying and just blaming everything and everybody around you is not an option here. You have to get your shit together and move on, because your time is ticking. I think time is money, and yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and so like what you said is just mostly something which I can fully agree with. But like, so what's the most important thing, I think, is to realize how we can get out of something like this. Because like there are a lot of different ways. Yeah, usually you cannot do it effortlessly. That's to be honest not an option, especially if you
sure.
miserable. You have to come up with something. But I think that really can be anything if that's good for you, if that's really something that can help you. And there is another thing which we have to highlight here, is that a lot of people think that they have to go through this alone. That's not true. Like, there are surely people who can and want to help you. There are people who love you, and no matter who we're talking about, there are people, and there are people who wants to help. We just have to find the way how they can help us, and help us to find the ways which by we can help ourselves. And that's where I think the two things can coincide, because there is how we get a positive point of view, and there is the way we get it. Yeah, and I think this is gonna cause problems later on. But I do not think there is a single person on this earth who cannot get out of it. If they cannot get out of it, then that meant they didn't want it, actually. Because there are surely ways for it, even though it's really tough. Because it's gonna be tough. Like, this situation is all in all tough, and we really experience it personally too, as you mentioned your own experience.
Yeah, sure.
And how hard it was not to meet with friends, and it's something that
was there
breaks a lot of
something that
people, I think,
irritated you during this quarantine? Because you've mentioned and you told to me that you really felt well during this time, so I'm quite curious.
So of course not meeting with friends was the toughest for me too, because like I really got used to that life when I meet with a lot of my friends every day. Like, you know, I cannot count how many times we were hours per week, and like,
yes,
that was the toughest probably. And after that, the toughest was the fact that how much I worry about my friends. Because maybe I could pretty much handle myself, like I tried to handle myself. And I could see that my friends need the help from me, and of course I worried about them. Like, I see how hard is this, and I try to like figure out ways how like I can help them, not actually solve their problem, because like in this situation no one is able to solve the
Just to
exact
make her
problem,
or
but
feel better
to make
that
it better.
she's
And-
she knows or he knows that you're next to him in thick and thin, so she or he can go through easily, or
yes.
at least easier.
Yes. And I think, by the way, I could help to some of my friends. But like, everything is gonna be different after a month, I think. Like, because when we finally can meet,
Yeah,
then
sure.
this is gonna be a huge deal breaker. And like, I think when we, like me and Patrick, could first
Yeah,
meet, that
It was
a
like
deal breaker too.
a new age. Yeah, I had some thoughts about this idea. So I had this idea actually that we should count, or one of my friends had this idea that we should count 2020 from the exact day when this quarantine shit ends. So yeah, that would be, I think, awesome to just like delete this from history. We don't need this black 2.5 or almost 3 months in our history and in our lives.
Yeah. But by the way, and it's gonna be a little bit of change of topic, but what I'm really surprised about that, how many people were like, how could this happen in the 21st century, and like how bad it is this.
Most people couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
For
it's truly
example,
really
President
bad.
of the US. I
well-
don't want to be. I don't
Yeah.
want to be an offender or something. But until March, he didn't even care about this whole thing. So March, this whole thing, this whole COVID-19 coronavirus virus, broke out like December, right before New Year's, if I'm not mistaken here. But I think this is why the name is COVID-19, because it started actually in 2019. So yeah, so like for 3 months he didn't do anything. He just blamed the Chinese. He blamed China for everything. The media, the import, the export, he blamed everything that he could. And then it just hit America in a heartbeat. And look at the numbers now. More than 100 people are dead in America because of coronavirus. Oh, sorry, 100,000. 100,000. Yeah, not 100,
yeah,
100,000.
like-
Yeah, sure.
So sorry guys. So yeah, we should like just believe what science says, so because if science says something for sure, like for really sure, that means something, because there are a lot of evidences behind that, and moreover, like which no one really considered the fact that how many times this has happened already, like pandemics, and there were bigger ones, there were worse than this. And like, I just don't know why people are so surprised. Because like viruses evolve, they will evolve, and no matter what century you are in, there will be some kind of virus
I can agree with
pandemics
that
after a
totally.
time. Yeah. And I think we should talk about a little bit of the current situation, because we talked about how these 2.5 months went on, but we are here end of the May actually,
Yeah, sure.
and a lot of things changed. A lot of countries went different ways, because now there are countries who are still in a very strict lockdown. There are countries which are not even in lockdown, and there are countries like ours which is in between.
I think this time, sorry to interrupt, but I want to add this. Like this time depends on the the fast steps forward against this whole pandemic. So, for example, the breakout was in China, Wuhan specifically. So Wuhan now is like the same as it was like in November, September 2019. So life goes on like nothing happened. Yeah, sure, they use masks still, but they don't have any limits. But for example, in Sweden and Great Britain, quarantine just started right now, I think.
Not in Sweden. There is.
Oh shit! Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry for the swear words, but this cannot be true. I have to look it up. Sorry, I have to.
There's
immune system.
British people stick with this thought that our immune system was over, and which is there is a logical reason behind this. Just no one counted the death behind this, because for example in Sweden there is a 12%
oh my God.
of death rate of coronavirus. And it's because there still isn't quarantine.
Oh my God.
But like Britain can still be a really good example of what you said, and how the word goes different ways. And I think in Hungary we kind of get into the usual. Yeah, with a little bit of limitations, but
sure.
Except entertainment facilities,
I can agree with that. And of course,
Hungary is not really limited.
The numbers are quite important here, because as you can see, we have like 9 million people in Hungary, so it's not that much comparing to like the US, where 200 million people live, I think, or more than 200 million. So yeah, numbers are I can say that. Holy shit, I can see that in Sweden, like 50% of the closed cases, like who recovered or who is dead, unfortunately, 50% of the closed cases saying that 50% of people are dead. So this is how they try to solve their problems, just to kill as many people as they can or something. I don't know, but yeah, this I can even pronounce this word. Oh my god. So statistically, yeah, sure. That's the word. That's the word.
Statistically.
So that
Sorry.
is like unbelievable.
Yeah. And like it's kind of scary that how it got different parts of the world, and like how bad these numbers are in Britain, but how much are they okay in Hungary. But we also have to highlight that it also depending on how much test we do. And for example, in Hungary, we don't really test. Like compared to the number of nation, we don't really test. And these are so unreal.
Sure, that's a hard word to pronounce. Sure.
But yeah, yeah, and which is really interesting here, I think, is how politicians just lie to us. And sorry, no offense for any kind of politician, but in most of the countries which opened up the lockdowns, they said this was the end, or this was the top of coronavirus, and like they say they have to open the countries to like not stopping economics for a long time. And the problem here is that, yeah, we shouldn't stop economics and because that's the center of everything. Kind of equal people are endangered if they lose their jobs compared to those who lose their lives in coronavirus. Maybe unemployment is more scary than that. So
somebody really has to be the breadwinner and make the money to keep his family alive. So just think about that. You have, as an adult, you have responsibilities. You have kids, or you have a beautiful wife. That is like a huge responsibility in life, and you have to be able to make enough money for at least for yourself, but it's better to make enough money for both of you to make ends meet, and who cannot even make ends meet.
Yeah, and like,
so it's like
it's like a really tough decision, and I think the truth is really in between, because yeah, we have to restart economics. Yeah, kind of they tried to get the hospitals ready for coronavirus. They try to do that, and then they should like reopen the things. That's really true, but they just shouldn't lie to us, to like everybody, because no, coronavirus didn't have an end, and it didn't have a top. Like people got a relief. That's why they said sadly things that what people wanted to hear, that like after 2.5 months everything passed away and we can leave this, and people gonna be brave, won't care about the rules, won't care about masks and washing hands or stuff that.
No one will give no one will
give a shit about that. Because they say that's the end, which is clearly not true. And as a result, there is a chance that there's gonna be a bigger wave.
A second wave,
and the second wave. Like, holy Jesus! Why can't they just tell that? Yeah, we restart the economics for like stabilizing money, but there is still coronavirus, and you still have to be careful. You still have to wash your damn hands and wear masks.
Be patient, and everything.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I want to add something here. I think. Oh my God, storm trucks in. So yeah, back to the topic. Yeah, sure. So as a matter of fact, I think this like home office or something like that. I think this should be still working. So those ones who can choose between whether they work at home or whether they go to their workplace and work from there, they should pick or choose the Exhibit A, because you can save place for other people who cannot even work from home, like painters, like police officers, like for example, who works in a shop, salesman or something like that, who has to be at her or his workplace. So those in conclusion, those ones who have the ability to stay home, they should be stay home.
Yeah. And like if you can do your home, you can do home office, do it. And one more addition, just please for some months, try to like don't care about going to restaurants, cafes, and other things like that, because for example in Hungary these facilities reopened, but like we don't need
like full time or just like between like 8 and 2 or something.
No,
like full
time restaurants, and you can go inside, and only the waiters and waitresses have to wear masks, and that's the only limitation.
So you can still get the goddamn virus from other people, for example, who has dinner next to you.
Yes, and like I just don't understand. These are something which we really don't need. I know that was part of everyday life, and it feels a relief to go to a restaurant again finally after 2.5 months. But please, if you can wait with it, then after we got through everything and it really could have an end, then go to a restaurant.
Yeah. But I think this won't be. We won't see the light at the end of the tunnel or something like that. It's not that case.
Yeah.
Coronavirus, like in 2019, it was born, and since then, this virus will be just as a virus like the flu. So it will has its seasons when it will hit. Yeah,
and
people will die. People will be better. People will be the same. So don't have the virus, but after time we cannot be distracted from a virus like this. And I want to add something too, that as all of you know, this virus came from white light. It was a bat, or just more bats. So let's say it was a shit ton of bats. But like, we have to respect the wildlife, and we have to protect the wilderness out there, because later on we will have viruses or more destructive viruses, just like this COVID-19. So it won't stop. this was like the clear warning shot for humanity, I think.
Yes, yeah, I do agree with you. And and honestly, we have to really like get this in our minds that care about this stuff. We really have to care about this stuff, and we have to realize how much is going on right now and get ready for another shot, because maybe there will be another shot, and then we have to solve that too.
Yeah, sure. We have to be prepared. We have to be aware of the happenings that surround us. So we have to be we have to be prepared. We have to be clear-minded. We have to see what's gonna happen. We have to at least try to predict these bad times to avoid, or at least make it like a little bit brighter, lighter or something.
Yes, I clearly agree. And as well, if we already mentioned the ending of coronavirus, what do you think of the vaccine? Like, do you think it will be the solution or not, or it will come in on time or not? So what's your opinion on that?
First of all, I think this whole idea that a vaccine can solve problems, I can agree with that. But as we all know, like any other viruses, it will continuously developing. So just like a shot of vaccine won't be able to stop the whole this whole virus. So like a vaccine can solve problems, but it will decrease the amount of deaths, I think. And at least it will be a little bit better. You know, just like for humanity, that we have this in our minds that we have a vaccine, and they tell, like the politicians and the media tells that it can solve problems, so just take it. So a lot of people will take it, and then I think it will be just like a little bit better, but not that much as we will expect that it can be. So yeah, I think vaccine kinda solve problems, but on the other side, I think it's not that decisive here.
I see. I totally see your point.
I don't know what you think about this, so
I'm not 100% agree though. But because yeah, you have the point where you see, it's gonna be different now. Like especially if we think about just the flu, because there is vaccine for the flu, but it still couldn't solve the problem of flu, and there are still a lot of actual death from flu.
yeah, just the media don't tell us. So
yeah, and like, and like, yeah, that's true, because coronavirus kind of evolved from flu to just take it easily. And if we think about it, maybe it won't be that successful as we expect.
yeah, I can say that as well.
On the other hand, statistically speaking, vaccines has solved a lot of viruses. So like, my first
For example,
Spanish flu.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that's what it immediately popped in. And Spanish flu, like from the name, it's kind of flu, and it could be solved by a vaccine, and it kind of disappeared. So if they are able to find the right vaccine, I can see that it's gonna make a huge difference. And for me, it's a bigger question that how much time they need for making the vaccine. Because
or actually, I just
yeah, so like, because in this case we want to give vaccine to most of the people, like as much as possible, but now we're talking about nearly 8 billion people, 8 billion vaccines, and
that's what I wanted
a
to say.
lot of money, and probably governments or a lot of governments won't put in comment don't want to do it, except if there is profit for them. But that would mean then we have to pay for the vaccine, which would seem logical, but at the end of the day, most of the world wouldn't get the vaccine.
Yeah. You have a good point here. Actually, I have an idea, and I think this would be kind of a game changer, but we will see. So I think, like any other serious illnesses, can be avoided with the vaccine that you get right after you were born. So I think the same process should be used here with COVID-19. So every kid who borns, like after the vaccine is out, they should get the vaccine after they are born, so their immune system right after they were born can fight against this little amount of illness, put in brackets illness, so he can be stronger than his father or mother, this virus, or just like against the simple flu. Actually, we cannot even compare this to like the flu and coronavirus, because I read this statement somewhere that coronavirus, for example, full transparency. Imagine 5 people in a room, and imagine that one of these 5 people has the flu, right, in the situation. So the percentage is like 20% that one people in the room will get the flu. So like one people with 20%. But like exhibit B, imagine the same 5 people, but one people with the coronavirus. So 4 people will get the coronavirus like at a 90% of the rate is like 90% that they will or they gonna get the coronavirus. So 4 people out of 5. So it's like terrifying how this virus can go on and go on and go on.
Yeah.
I read this somewhere, but I'm sure it's like safe information.
And that's why this is pretty scary. I want to comment your solution, which I think is still a great solution, but it should be financed by the government or somehow.
Yeah. Sure. We can add this easily. Yeah, it should be. But as you know, in this world, we live in a money-centered system. Everything flows around money, and the government needs money. So I think this is like impossible, unfortunately, to make it happen.
Just let's hope they can put something together, and most importantly, we are going to learn from this. Just to take an example, Hong Kong, where SARS broke out back in the beginning of 2000. They were really shocked back then, and there were a lot of death. But when coronavirus broke out, they were better, and there were just a few infections, few deaths, because they could get ready as much as was possible, and there was a lockdown immediately. They didn't know what to do. As a result, they could stop it very easily or like very quickly. So what is surely needed is learning from this and take it as a sign.
Yeah. We have to be able to predict these viruses and these bad happenings. We have to take control on everything. So we have to be sure that nothing bad's gonna happen. People will live. The amount of deaths will be very low. We have to be like clearly on this case.
Yes, I totally agree, and I think this thought should be the close for today's podcast. Because like
the moral.
Like the moral of the story.
Yeah.
And actually would like to hear your opinion on this though. I mean, this podcast is gonna be uploaded and you could watch it back, so you can use the comment section below, of course. And sorry for some kind of technical issues. There were some technical issues with the voice, with the chat, but during the stream I could make it, but still sorry for it. And
we try to do our best here, you know.
Yeah. This is our first time, so yeah. And we want to do really regular stuff from this podcast. So we hope you enjoyed it. And
yeah, we plan like I can say that we plan like having a weekly podcast, like on Saturday or even on Sunday. We will decide.
Yeah, we will work it out. So hope you enjoy this. Like if you feel like, or subscribe. My name is Roland.
And my name is Patrick.
And this was the Blackout for today.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.